Portion of South Africans receiving welfare has now increased to 50%. The grant was introduced in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, increasing the number of people receiving financial aid from the government to a staggering 29 million South Africans. We're now joined by Mr. Duma Gqubule to discuss the legacy of the ANC when it comes to economic policies as they celebrate their 111th birthday today. Thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. So according to the president of the party, 11 million people are receiving the 350 million rand grant, while 18 million of that goes to old age grants. That 50% of the population now sits and depends solely on social welfare should tell us what?
Well, it's a symptom of the dismal failure of the ANC government to grow our economy and create jobs. We have got 11.9 million unemployed people. The unemployment rate is about 43% for people of all races. For African women, it's about 51%. For African men, I think it's about 48 or 49%. So what are those people supposed to do? They must get some kind of income support. So the government doesn't have an option but to implement this basic income grant. And the 350 rand is very low for a person to have a dignified life. So many of us have proposed that it should be increased to the official poverty lines. South Africa's got 3 official poverty lines. The top one for last year was about 1,500 rands a month. So I've modeled the implementation of this grant and how it should be done. And many other economists have done the same. The grant is affordable if it is implemented within the context of a growing economy. South Africa's economy, in per capita terms, has not grown for 16 years from 2006 to 2021. That is what we should be talking about here.
If the economy has not grown for some 16 years, how sustainable then is this proposal?
Yes, so the proposal, what I'm saying is that the basic income grant is the quickest way to put an injection of new money into the economy, and it should be implemented over 3 years. It takes our growth rate. People will spend the money into the economy. It will be a stimulus to the economy, and some of the money will come back to the government. So we found that in terms of the modeling I did, about 50 to 60% will come back to the government in terms of the stimulus effect on the economy. It will create jobs by growing the economy faster, and also there will be a clawback from people who are taxpayers and VAT receipts as well. So this thing has been carefully modeled by many people to show how it can be done. But then that is only the first step. To make it sustainable beyond the 3-year implementation period, we have to implement other policies. We have to increase our infrastructure investment. We have to implement a job guarantee for all South Africans. And there's many other things that we're proposing that should be done. But the bottom line is that South Africa's economy should be growing at 6% a year. The outlook for the rest of the decade is 1.5% a year, according to most forecasts. That is a disaster scenario that is going to create an economic wasteland in South Africa with 16 million unemployed people.
Taking a look at the forecast for some other countries on the continent, they're projected to grow well ahead of South Africa. And so when we take a look at this situation where 50% of the population is solely reliant on social welfare, what is it that other countries on the continent, comparing apples with apples, are doing, right? While we appreciate they also have their complexities, but South Africa seems to be the country where people are mostly dependent on social grants.
I just have to make one point quite clear. We're an upper middle income country. And if you compare us with upper middle income countries, the spend on social security, public social security is not high. We are at 5.5% of GDP. The world average is 12.9%, and the upper middle income countries is 8%. So let's just get that out of the way. But the template for economic development is generic, throughout the world. All the African countries are growing because they invest in their people, they invest in their infrastructure. That is the only way to grow your economy. But our government has stopped investing in its people and stopped investing in its infrastructure to these misguided austerity policies. The economic performance broadly correlates with the level of government spending. When we were spending much higher on infrastructure and social spending between 2003 and 2008, our economy created 3.1 million jobs. The unemployment rate went down from 40% to 28.7%. So that is the only period in the post since 1994 when the government has been spending money into the economy. So what I'm saying is that all we have to do is the government must stimulate the economy and get it going again. And once we get to that 6%, it's going to be a drug, and everybody wants to do it every single year.
Yeah, so, you make it sound so simple. The government needs to stimulate. Then it's mind-boggling. If it is so simple, what is it that we are not getting right?
We've got a technically incompetent leadership in South Africa. Because we are focusing on this debt ratio. It is an insane debate. We should be focusing on the state of our people. I was in central Johannesburg. It's a slum. I'm doing some research with informal workers. It's become a slum. It is absolutely incredible. The government is making no investment in our inner cities throughout the country. And the issue is quite simple. The migration to Gauteng, I think about 200,000 people come out every year to Gauteng, and the infrastructure hasn't kept up with what we can provide to the people. So when you spend on infrastructure, the part I don't understand, Duduzile, is that it has a multiply effect. When you spend R1 on infrastructure, the economy gets back 2 rand. It pays for itself. So I just don't understand why there should be a budget constraint when it comes to infrastructure.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for, but thank you very much for your insight this morning. Duma Gqubule, is he's the director for the Center for Economic Development and Transformation. Thank you.